Modern bikes are plastic toys with iPads for dashboards. But what you need is the smell of hot oil and the feeling of raw power. The 70s were the golden age. Europe fought the Japanese wave with style and speed. These machines weren't built by robots. They were forged by artisans. They demand respect and skill. These 13 legends offer a connection that computer-controlled bikes cannot match. And even now, they still destroy the modern riding experience. Let's count them down. Number 13, Triumph Bonneville T140. We begin with the last stand of the British Empire. By the mid-70s, the Japanese had taken over the market. But the Triumph Bonneville T140 was the British fighting back with everything they had. It was an evolution of the iconic 60s Bonneville, but punched out to 750 cubic centimeters to handle the modern world. It featured a parallel twin engine making roughly 53 horsepower. It could hit a top speed of 110 miles per hour, vibrating enough to loosen your dental fillings, but looking absolutely glorious while doing it. The price back in 1973 was around $1,800. Today, a pristine example will set you back $8,000 to $10,000. This bike is special because it is raw. It has a 5-speed gearbox that shifts on the right side, on early models, forcing you to rewire your brain. It destroys modern retro bikes because it is the genuine article. Modern retro bikes fake the carburetors with fuel injection covers. The T140 breezed through real Amal carbs. We spoke to an owner named Old Bill in Leeds. He said, "I ride with lads on modern Thruxtons. They press a button and go. I have to tickle the carbs and kick it over. But when we stop at the pub, nobody looks at their plastic bikes. They all stare at my Triumph." The Triumph was a survivor. Our next bike is a giant killer. It has a tiny engine compared to the super bikes, but it handled so well that it embarrassed machines with twice the horsepower. Number 12, Moto Morini 3.5 Sport. Do not let the name fool you. The Moto Morini 3.5 Sport is one of the greatest handling motorcycles ever built. It features a 344 cubic centimeter V-twin engine designed by a former Ferrari engineer. It was a jewel of Italian engineering. It produced 39 horsepower, which sounds pathetic by modern standards, but it weighed only 320 pounds. It could touch 100 miles per hour if you tucked in tight. Back in 1974, it cost roughly $1,500. Today, collectors are waking up to them, driving prices to $6,000 or $8,000. This bike destroys modern small displacement bikes because of its build quality. Modern 300s are built to a budget in Southeast Asia. The Morini was built to a standard in Italy. It featured a heron head combustion chamber, flat heads, pistons with a combustion bowl, a 6-speed gearbox, rare for the time, and electronic ignition. It handles like a bicycle with an engine. A rider named Marco told us, "On a tight mountain road, I can leave modern 600s behind. They are fighting their weight and power. I am just flowing." It carries corner speed like nothing else. We are diving deep into the history of speed. If you believe that carburetors sound better than fuel injection, click that like button right now. Let's show the algorithm that classic iron still rules the road. In 1976, BMW unveiled the next bike, and the world gasped. Before this, fairings were aftermarket fiberglass things you bolted on in your garage. This was integrated. It was futuristic. It looked like a spaceship. Number 11, BMW R100 RS. This bike was powered by a 980 cubic centimeter boxer twin, making 70 horsepower. It had a top speed of 125 miles per hour. But the speed wasn't the point. The point was that you could sit at 100 miles per hour for 6 hours and not get tired. The fairing created a silent bubble around the rider. In 1976, it cost nearly $4,500, making it one of the most expensive bikes on earth. Today, you can find a rider-quality one for $6,000, which is a steal. This bike destroys modern tourers because of its simplicity. A modern tourer has 10 computers, electronic suspension, and a motorized windscreen. The RS does it all with aerodynamics. It is pure analog touring. The sensation of the boxer engine rocking side to side is hypnotic. A long-distance rider named Hans said, "I have ridden across Europe on my RS. Modern bikes isolate you from the road. The RS connects you to it. You feel the wind, but it doesn't hurt you. It is the perfect balance. The BMW was sophisticated. Our next bike is pure styling excess. It has 6 cylinders and 6 exhaust pipes, and it sounds like a Formula One car from the 70s. Number 10. Benelli 750 SEI. The Italians saw the Honda CB750 and said, 4 cylinders? That is cute. Hold my espresso. Benelli created the first production 6-cylinder motorcycle, the 750 It was wide, it was heavy, and it was absolutely magnificent. It featured a 747 cubic centimeter inline-6 engine, making 76 horsepower. It could hit 120 miles per hour, but the speed was secondary to the sound. The wail of 6 tiny pistons screaming at 9,000 RPM is spine-tingling. Back in 1974, it cost nearly $4,000. Today, because of their rarity and complexity, they trade hands for $25,000 or more. It destroys modern bikes with its presence. When you pull up on a Say, you own the parking lot. The 6 individual chrome exhaust pipes fan out like organ pipes. It is a piece of rolling sculpture. Riding it is an exercise in smoothness. The engine has perfect primary balance. An owner named Stefano said, "It is not a motorcycle, it is a musical instrument. I ride it through tunnels just to hear the echo." No modern bike has this much drama. The Benelli was complex, but there's another bike that is the definition of British grit. It fought the vibration that killed other bikes and turned it into a smooth, rubber-mounted rocket. Number 9. Norton Commando 850. The Norton Commando is arguably the most beautiful British bike ever made. By the mid-70s, they increased the engine size to 828 cubic centimeter to compete with the superbikes. It was known for its ice-elastic system, which rubber-mounted the vibrating engine to smooth out the ride. It produced 60 horsepower and had massive torque. It topped out at 115 miles per hour. In 1975, it cost around $2,500. Today, a pristine Commando 850 Mark III with the electric starter is worth $15,000 to $20,000. This bike is special because of the torque. You can put it in 4th gear and ride it like an automatic. It pulls like a freight train from idle. It destroys modern retro bikes because it handles brilliantly. The featherbed-derived frame geometry is legendary. It feels narrow and nimble. We heard from a rider named Jack who restored one. He said, "The vibration disappears at 2,000 RPM and it just floats. It feels alive between your legs in a way a modern Triumph never will. It smells of hot oil and victory." The Norton was smooth. Our next bike is the quintessential Italian cafe racer. It is low, long, and looks like it is doing 100 miles per hour while standing still. Number 8. Moto Guzzi V7 Sport. Before the Le Mans, there was the V7 Sport. This was the bike that proved shaft drive didn't have to be boring. It was built by the race department in limited numbers and painted in a stunning lime green on the early Telaio Rosso models. It used a 748 cubic centimeter longitudinal V-twin, making 52 horsepower. But importantly, it was the first production bike to hit 120 miles per hour 5 years before its time. It cost a staggering $3,000 in 1971. Today, a genuine red frame V7 Sport is a holy grail bike, costing upwards of $40,000. Why does it destroy modern bikes? Stability. The frame was designed by Lino Tanti, and it is a masterpiece of triangulation. You can hit a bump mid-corner at 90 miles per hour, and the bike does not flinch. It is built like a bank vault. The sensation of the big pistons firing is like a heartbeat. It is mechanical art that you can ride across the country. An owner named Luigi said, "It is heavy steering at low speeds, but once you are moving, it is on rails. It is the most confident motorcycle I have ever ridden." Moving on, our next bike is the one that put BMW on the performance map. It introduced the world to Daytona Orange and proved the Germans could be wild. Number 7. BMW R90S. Before the R90S, BMWs were for old men with pipes. Then came 1973. BMW hired a designer to create a factory cafe racer. They gave it a bikini fairing, a bumped seat, and a smoke paint job that was applied by hand. It featured an 898 cubic centimeter boxer engine, making 67 horsepower. It could do 125 miles per hour. It famously won the very first AMA Superbike race in 1976, beating the Japanese fours. It cost $3,400 new. Today, a clean Daytona orange model commands $20,000. It is special because of the craftsmanship. The paint was sprayed by hand, meaning no two bikes are exactly alike. It destroys modern bikes with its versatility. It is a sport bike you can tour on, or a tour you can race. The Dell'Orto pumper carbs give it a snappy throttle response that the modern fuel-injected boxers lack. A collector named Bob told us, "I have 20 bikes. If the house was on fire, I would wheel out the R90S. It does everything perfectly." We are halfway through the list of legends. If you are enjoying this trip down memory lane, consider subscribing to the channel. We preserve the history of speed so it is never forgotten. The BMW was a racer. Our next bike is an endurance legend. It was built to run for 24 hours straight at full throttle, and it is painted in a color that screams, "Look at me." Number 6. Laverda 750 SFC. This is not a street bike, it is a race bike with lights. The Laverda 750 SFC, Super Freni Competizione, was hand-built in tiny numbers for endurance racing. It is painted exclusively in bright orange, the company's racing color. It used a 744 cubic centimeter parallel twin making 75 horsepower. It topped out at 135 miles per hour. It cost nearly $4,000 in the mid-70s. Today, you need to be wealthy. These trade for $50,000 to $60,000. This bike destroys modern machines with its brutality. It vibrates. It is loud. The clutch requires the grip strength of a gorilla, but it is indestructible. The engine cases are massive sand-cast aluminum. It was built to run wide open for 24 hours and win. Riding it is a physical wrestling match that rewards you with pure adrenaline. An owner named Klaus said, "It feels like riding a jackhammer that is doing 130. It is exhausting and exhilarating. After an hour, you feel like you have gone 12 rounds with a boxer." The Laverda is brutal. Our next bike is exotic. It has 4 cylinders, 4 exhaust pipes, and was built by a company that won championships with helicopters. Number 5. MV Agusta 750S America. This is the Ferrari of motorcycles. MV Agusta dominated Grand Prix racing, and the 750S America was their road-going tribute to that dominance. It is arguably the most desirable production motorcycle of the 1970s. It featured a 743 cubic centimeter inline 4 with dual overhead cams, making 75 horsepower. It could hit 135 miles per hour, but the price, in 1975, it cost $6,500. That was 3 times the price of a Honda. It was a bike for kings and playboys. Today, prepare to pay $100,000 or more. It destroys modern bikes with its pedigree. The engine creates a mechanical shriek that is pure racetrack. The sandcast cases, the red suede seat, the hand-welded frame, it is jewelry. Riding it is an event. People stop in the street to listen to it. It is not just a machine. It is a piece of Italian history. A curator named Antonio told us, "Riding an MV America is like driving a 1960s Ferrari GTO. It is heavy, hot, and demanding, but the sound makes the hair on your arms stand up." The MV is expensive, but our next bike is the one that started the Ducati legend. It is the bike that saved the company and created the V-twin dynasty. Number 4. Ducati 750 Sport. Before the 900 SS, there was the 750 Sport. This was the yellow Desmo. It was the first sport bike to use the legendary L-twin engine in a sporting chassis without fairings. It is long, low, and breathtakingly beautiful. It used a 748 cubic centimeter L-twin, making 62 horsepower. It topped out at 125 miles per hour. In 1973, it cost around $3,000. Today, a real round case 750 Sport is worth $40,000 to $50,000. This bike is special because of the round case engine. These engines were hand-assembled and took hours to shim the bevel gears perfectly. The result is an engine that is smoother than the later square case models. It destroys modern bikes with its slenderness. It feels incredibly narrow between your knees. It falls into corners with a grace that modern wide-tired bikes struggle to match. It is pure, unfiltered Ducati magic before they became a mass-market brand. The Ducati 750 was the start. Our next bike is the Icon. It is the bike that defined the cafe racer look for the mass market and combined reliability with Italian style. Number 3, Moto Guzzi 850 Le Mans Mark I. If the V7 Sport was the elegant prototype, the Le Mans Mark I was the aggressive production racer. Released in 1976, it is the quintessential Italian muscle bike. With its bikini fairing, clip-on handlebars, and fluorescent orange paint on the fairing, it looked fast standing still. It featured an 844 cubic centimeter V-twin making 71 horsepower. It could do 130 miles per hour. It cost around $3,200 new. Today, a pristine Mark I is worth $20,000 to $25,000. It destroys modern bikes with its character. The intake roar from the massive Dell'Orto carburetors with open bell mouths is deafening and addictive. The linked braking system where the foot pedal operates one front disc and the rear disc was decades ahead of its time and provides incredible stopping power. It is a bike that feels carved from a single block of granite. An owner named Mario said, "It is a man's bike. The throttle is heavy, the clutch is heavy, but when you are carving a sweeper at 100 miles per hour, it feels invincible." The Le Mans is iconic. Our next bike is the king of the Ducatis. It is the most beautiful, most desirable, and most copied motorcycle of the era. Number 2, Ducati 900 Super Sport. This is it, the bike that sits on the bedroom wall of every motorcycle enthusiast, the Ducati 900 Super Sport SS. It was essentially a race bike with a license plate, built to celebrate Mike Halewood's victory at the Isle of Man TT, though the replica came slightly later. The 900 SS laid the groundwork. It used an 864 cubic centimeter Desmodromic L-twin, making 80 horsepower. It could hit 135 miles per hour. In 1977, it cost around $3,500. Today, a silver and blue 900 SS is worth $35,000 to $50,000. This bike is special because of the Desmodromic valves. There are no valve springs to float at high RPM. The valves are mechanically opened and mechanically closed. This gives the engine a unique sound and incredible high RPM performance. It destroys modern bikes with its purity. It has no starter motor on early models. You have to kick it. It has no air filters. It has loud Conti mufflers that bark like a cannon. Riding it is a religious experience. It handles with a slow, deliberate stability that rewards precision. We have reached the top of the mountain. Before we unveil the number 1 bike, tell us in the comments, which of these European legends would you choose for a Sunday blast? We read every comment. The Ducati is the beauty queen, but our number 1 bike is the beast. It was the fastest production motorcycle in the world, and it was orange, loud, and absolutely terrifying. Number 1, Laverda Jota 1000. In 1976, the Slater brothers in England took a Laverda 3C and tuned it to the moon. The result was the Jota. It was the first true superbike to come out of Europe that could smash the Japanese on pure top speed. It featured a 981 cubic centimeter inline triple engine. But this wasn't a smooth triple like a Triumph. It had a 180-degree crankshaft. This gave it a loping, offbeat idle that sounded like a bag of hammers. But at high RPM, it howled like a banshee. It produced 90 horsepower. It was the first production bike to be clocked at over 140 miles per hour. The price back then was nearly $4,000. Today, a real Jota is worth $25,000 to $35,000. Why does it destroy modern bikes? Because it is raw violence. It is a big, tall, heavy beast that requires you to grab it by the scruff of the neck. The throttle springs are stiff, the clutch is heavy, but the power delivery is addictive. It surges forward with a wave of torque that feels like a jet taking off. It has absolutely no rider aids. It is just you, a massive engine, and the road. A legend named Fast Eddie told us, "I rode a Jota in the 70s. It scared me. I bought one again last year. It still scares me. Modern bikes are too polite. The Jota is a bar brawl on wheels. Which one of these legends would you put in your dream garage? Let us know. And remember, keep the rubber side down and the carbs open.